right, as much as this pains me to do this, I'll go with the Dolphins next because I know both you guys have Buffalo sitting at the top of the AFC East. So you guys know. All right, let's start. The Dolphins have the third hardest schedule, as we mentioned. They're going to have to play the Seahawks. I think the Seahawks is at home in Miami. They're going to play at San Francisco, at Denver. They got the Chargers, the Rams, and I think they're also going to play the Cardinals in Arizona. That makes it tough. They had an 0-7 start last year under Flores. Flores is in his second year. 0-7 start, finished 5-4 at the end of the year. So you guys know how I feel about Brian Flores. I looked up some statistics, and this kind of goes back on some of the conversations we've had about Flores, and we've had about guys like Caldwell. For as much as I can't stand Jim Caldwell, I talk about him an awful lot. I need to get some therapy or something to get him out of my head. So last year, the Dolphins had their false starts and defensive offsides ranked 6th and 3rd in the league, respectively. And they were tied for 11 in fumbles. Now, interceptions were a different story. You got Fitzpatrick. You're going to get a lot of touchdowns, but you're going to get a lot of interceptions that come with it. So obviously, that's a glaring problem need to be fixed. But I want to focus on the false starts, the defensive offsides, and the fumbles. Those statistics are indicative of the kind of discipline that's in the locker room. And we've seen with guys like Caldwell and Norv Turner and these guys that I can play, Adam Gase, their penalties are traditionally very high, which is indicative of the lack of discipline in the locker room. And you can't build a championship program unless it's disciplined. We've seen that with Bill Belichick. And he's out of the Bill Parcells school and a lot of the old school coaches that I mentioned with Papa Bear Hallis and Curly Lambeau. You can win some games and you can win some championships, but you don't build a solid foundation without discipline. And I think that Flores has done that. We know, being down here, watching very closely, that Flores came in and cleaned. He just cleaned the locker room out. He got rid of players that people were like, what in the hell is this guy doing? He doesn't know what he's doing. And people got down on him real quick, everybody. And I loved it. I knew exactly what he was doing. He was setting a foundation is that this is the way we do things. And if you don't like it, you don't belong here. And I don't care who you are and what you're making and what you're capable of, you're gone. And I think that's going to be, I think that building that foundation is going to be huge. Obviously, discipline doesn't equate. It doesn't quite equate with wins. I mean, it takes talent, it takes X's and O's, and it takes a lot of luck, to win. But I think it is the foundation. Without the discipline, you can't have the winning. You just can't. So I think the downsides with Flores is it's too early to tell. It's only a second year, right? So things look good from here. We could all just be completely way off. We've seen a lot of sophomore coaches with promise come in and just drive the train the other way. You have no idea what happened. I hate to discredit this guy, but I'll never understand how a linebacker coach can jump to a head coach. That doesn't make any sense to me. Other than you've been in, perhaps the greatest system ever, but I don't even know that really, equates to much either. The New England coaching tree still hasn't proven itself. We're still kind of waiting for that to happen as well. Vrabel might be on the verge, Flores might be on the verge, but we haven't really seen a breakout coach yet. They also, as much as I want to praise that they went 5-4 after an 0-7 start, I have to say they only went 5-4 after an 0-7 start. As promising as that is, it's also could be disheartening that it was only 5-4. It's just a notch above 500. So I don't want to put too much stock in that. So the bottom line with this is that this team could go either way. They They could win 5 games. They could win 11 games. I've got them on the couple times that I ran through the season predictor. I've got them between 9-7 and 11-5. They could win the division. They could not win the division. It'll be interesting, and they could win 2 games. I honestly don't know. I really don't.
Yeah, I'm right there with you with the Dolphins being on the rise. This year, I got them finishing 10-6, 3-3 in the division. They beat the Jets twice, and they split it with New England. Uh, they don't have any Pro Bowlers returning, but they did get some nice pickups this offseason. In addition to drafting Tua, who's going to be probably starting behind Fitzpatrick, who, in my opinion, is a good quarterback. Um, hopefully, Tua can get healthy, learn from him, be there for years to come. But they also have Jordan Howard and Matt Breida in at running back. Their two are pretty solid running backs. So they filled that position quite nicely. And I think Devontae Parker is going to have a breakout season. I know he did a couple years ago, but I think he's really going to step up this year. Same with Preston Williams and Albert Wilson. So they have threats out there. They just got to stay healthy, make it all gel, put it together, and we'll see what happens. But I got them the number 5 seed in the playoffs this year.
Yeah, that seems a little high for me, in my personal opinion. I got them not having a horrible year. I got them finishing the year at 7-9. Um, like you were talking about, Brad. I like Brian Flores. I like what that Dolphins team is doing. I think like I said just a little while ago, they had a lot of draft capital, and I don't even know what that is. 10 or 11 picks it looks like, and they brought in a whole slew of guys in free agency, and like a guy like Kyle Van Noy, I think that's going to be big for the team. And they also brought in Byron Jones to be opposite Xavier Howard, and that defense is going to be or should be pretty scary this year. They got a lot of beef up front and a lot of depth in the secondary now. The offense is really the only question. They have a really young offense outside of Fitzmagic, of course. Devontae Parker finally looked like he could be a number 1 receiver. We'd been waiting for that for like 6 years or something like that. And toward the end of the season, he finally was starting to have a couple 100-yard games. Preston Williams looked like the real deal before he got hurt too. So if those guys can keep producing and be a lethal 1-2 combo for whichever quarterback takes the job, I think it'll be valuable for the offense. But the offensive line is going to be an issue all around. They have Jordan Howard and Matt Breida, who are both serviceable running backs, both capable of being number 1 running backs, but like not top 10 in the league kind of running backs, in my opinion. And behind that offensive line, if you don't have an offensive line that can push people around, then it almost doesn't even matter who you have running the ball or throwing the ball, because they're not going to have time to do anything. So, they're a super young team. Like you said, they have a really hard schedule. They're definitely a team to watch, but I don't think they have anywhere near enough experience to win the division this year.
Yeah, and I want to agree with you. As much as I just hyped up the Dolphins, you the youth factor is something that is a positive attribute that they have for sure, but it could be a huge determining factor this year that limits their success just because they are so young. And I want to acknowledge that's a very good point.
Well, I will throw in there that in the fan poll, the Dolphins finished 3rd with 25% of the votes.
Okay, that makes sense. I mean, the Buffalo had a good year. People aren't going to vote against the Patriots, and the Dolphins haven't proven themselves. Unless you're really paying attention to what's going on down here, that doesn't surprise me, to be honest. I'm just glad the Jets only had 9%. I'm really not a Jets hater. Really not. All right.
Did we ever say what percentage of the poll the Patriots took?
They are tied with the Bills at 33%.